Ryan listened to the bickering between Lanka and Jamie as he peeked through his car's window outside Dynamis Star Studios, the sprawling complex covering roughly 2.5 square kilometers east of New Rome, included an open park, 7 warehouses, and only one checkpoint entrance guarded by a few security personnel. From a distance, Ryan observed staff moving cardboard cutouts, interns delivering coffee, and stuntmen preparing. Noting the studios lacked security, the group had parked outside the studio's perimeter, unable to find a path inside without triggering security cameras. Ki-young rested her head against her boyfriend's shoulder, eyes closed, while sending her rats to scout the area. Ryan understood that Chitter's enhanced rat family acted as relays, allowing her to control a large swarm of vermin. He suspected this was due to physical modifications rather than true telepathy, meaning destroying her main rats would temporarily cancel her power, but her vermin could also operate independently. Lanka questioned why they would risk fighting Wyvern, the dragon shapeshifter capable of challenging the boss just so Ryan could earn personal favor. Jamie responded that Vulcan, one of the capos, wanted it, and with luck they wouldn't have to face her since she was probably busy with fieldwork. Lanka worried about the consequences if they were wrong, emphasizing none of them could handle Vulcan. Ryan shared their unease, sensing danger and feeling watched despite their location being a blind spot for cameras. He considered installing a radar in his car to distract himself. He turned on the radio and activated a special feature, hoping for good old-school music. The broadcast reported that the Roman Republic remained under curfew following Gaius Julius Caesar's assassination. Jamie asked about the unfamiliar news channel, and Ryan explained it was his chronoradio, which picked up channels across space and time, but often defaulted to the Roman Republic era. Lanka mocked the idea of radios existing 2,000 years ago, but Ryan countered that multiple versions of the past could exist. Ryan finally found a post-apocalyptic blues channel. As Ki-young woke up, Jamie asked her about Wyvern's presence, and Ki-young noted that Wyvern wasn't there. Someone was filling in for her. Jamie pointed out that Wyvern probably didn't do her own stunts and was busy with fieldwork. Ki-young added that Wardrobe was performing the stunts, and Adam Cat was present as well. Ryan tried to recall Wardrobe's powers, and Ki-young explained that Wardrobe's abilities depended on her costume, granting weak versions of the real powers that lasted only as long as her clothes remained intact. Lanka complained about yellow genomes being useless. Jamie questioned Ki-young about Adam Cat, who was doing a guest appearance in the movie. Ki-young expressed concern, and Jamie revealed that Adam Cat was once one of them but was currently in a rebellious phase. His parents belonged to Augustus' inner circle, and they were forbidden from endangering him. Lanka warned Ryan not to let Adam Cat touch him, as he could transform anything into a bomb through direct skin contact. Ryan feigned interest before asking if the movie used CGI special effects or stop-motion. Ki-young confirmed CGI, prompting Ryan to lament the loss of cinema's golden age. Lanka asked Jamie what their plan was, whether they would go in gun blazing and then escape. Jamie replied that Ki-young would flood the studios with rats from afar to create a disturbance, and they would immediately leave. Ryan protested the lack of a fight, accusing Jamie of betrayal, but Jamie insisted he didn't want trouble with Adam Cat. Ki-young affirmed her commitment before falling asleep. Again, Lanka smoked a cigarette, looking out the window without offering support. Ryan understood their caution, but felt disappointed by the lack of action. Minutes later, Ryan noticed agitation near the studio as people emerged from the warehouses, screaming. Then thousands of black and brown rats poured out, breaking windows under their weight and forming waves and walls of fur. Panic spread among the staff as guards fired desperately. Coffee spilled, and employees fled. Ryan whistled at the overwhelming rat infestation, and Jamie chuckled that it should satisfy Vulcan. They agreed to leave before private security arrived. Ryan accelerated away from the vermin-infested studio onto the city's broad lanes, still uneasy as they drove back to their shared house. Ryan half expected Wyvern to attack from the skies, Adam Cat to pursue them on a motorcycle, or the Meta to ambush them. Instead, they returned home without incident. The courier felt disappointed by New Rome's heroes, contrasting them with the brutally competent champions of Leo Hargrave's carnival. Lanka finished her smoke smoke and threw it out of the window, teasing Ryan about his sulking. Ryan stopped time, caught the smoke, and placed it in an ashtray in the glove compartment before replying that he had expected some trouble on the road but found the situation boring instead. Jamie tried to comfort him by reminding him he would see his girlfriend again, and Ki-young asked what she was like. Ryan promised to introduce her, much to Ki-young's delight. He admitted to himself that he was starting to like this group, though he wouldn't get too attached. They arrived at their shared house, and Ryan parked the car, letting the others climb down while he stayed behind, saying he wanted to listen to the radio a bit and asked Jamie to call Vulcan. Jamie agreed and mentioned it was movie night, offering a choice between RoboCop or RoboCop 2. Ryan raised two fingers indicating his preference for stop-motion films and began searching for the Jazz 60s channel on his chrono radio. Ki-young reached the house door and exchanged pleasantries with Lanka, but suddenly stopped just before touching the handle. Ryan lowered his window and asked what was wrong. Ki-young explained she couldn't sense the rats she had left at home to watch the place. Jamie asked if they had run off, but Ki-young shook her head, saying she had explicitly told them to stay. Lanka drew her gun and moved forward with a frown, while Ki-young stepped back. Lanka placed a hand on the door handle, the other ready to shoot through it. Suddenly a click sounded. Ryan stopped time immediately upon hearing it, but it was too late. When time resumed, the house exploded into flames and debris, engulfing Lanka and Ki-young instantly and incinerating them. The blast shattered all the car's reinforced windows and triggered the alarm. Ryan ignored the glass shards cutting his skin and rushed to Jamie's side, attempting to help him. Jamie, protected by his armor, was more shocked than physically hurt, but emotionally devastated. Ryan shouted Ki-young's name and rushed to her body, noting that despite her genome durability, the blast had killed her instantly, searing her flesh and frying her eyes. Ryan cursed as he surveyed the corpses and scanned the smoke-filled area for the attacker, but saw no one. Jamie, holding Ki-young's body, looked horrified and urged Ryan to take them to the hospital. Ryan, having studied medicine, told Jamie it was useless. They were dead and nothing could be done. Jamie glared at Ryan with pure fury, questioning his cold response. Ryan, numb from witnessing so many deaths, cared intellectually but felt no emotional weight, since he could rewind time and prevent the attack. He liked both girls and intended to ensure their survival next time, but saw no point in sadness now. Jamie's distraught expression moved Ryan enough to promise he could bring them back. Before Ryan could continue, he noticed movement out of the corner of his eye and turned to see glass shards flying at him like knives. Jamie's armor short-circuited, electrocuting him and forcing him to drop Ki-young's corpse as he screamed in pain. Ryan stopped time to dodge the shards and searched for the attacker. Saw no one, suspecting invisibility again. When time resumed, Ryan felt a sharp pain in his neck. His vision flipped upside down and his body went numb as his head hit the grass. Glass shards swirled above him, shredding Jamie alive. Before he could recover, Ryan's headless body lay beside him, eyes wide in shock before the shards fell upon his skull like raining swords. Ryan woke up behind the wheel of his Plymouth, back at the beginning. Instead of heading directly to Renesco's place, he parked near the city's entrance and gathered his thoughts. He growled about being tricked twice when he was so close to happiness. He concluded someone was after him, bold enough to attack while he had a group of genomes with him. He considered the meta the most likely suspect, but wondered if the assassin targeted him for joining the Augusti. The professional nature of the attack, the powerful bomb, the timing just after Ryan stopped time, and the killing of chitters rodents all suggested extensive information gathering and possibly a crew. The attacker appeared to control glass, able to fry Jamie's armors, electronics, possibly a silica kinetic, explaining the presumed invisibility as an optical illusion or mirror suit. The brutal, unexpected attack lasted less than 5 minutes and showed cold-blooded professionalism. Ryan decided to put his main mission on hold until he dealt with this roadblock block. The killer had already murdered him twice without revealing themselves, and seemed indifferent to collateral damage. If the killer was an agent of someone else, killing them might only delay the inevitable. Ryan believed the meaning of life was finding happiness, which he lacked without Len. This killer kept them apart and had to be stopped. He also refused to let Jamie and his friends die, wanting everyone he cared about to be happy. Jamie's group was now part of that VIP category, and Ryan vowed not to let them perish. Ryan analyzed the situation with cold logic, seeking a solution in this new loop. The killer had attacked only the Augusti or the courier, so far possibly because Ryan worked with the criminal syndicate, excluding the lone wolf theory. Only two organizations possessed the genome's motives and resources to target them: the Meta and Dynamis. If it was the Meta, Ryan had already vowed to eliminate them, which would solve two problems at once. Yet his intuition told him he had overlooked something. He recalled the harbor. Ryan remembered a flyer rescuing members of the private security during his fight with Ghoul and Saren. There he had thought the figure was obscured by darkness, but now considered they might have been invisible, revealed only by smoke, since the figure had not aided the Meta but rescued Dynamis employees. Ryan ruled out the Meta as the culprit. This left either a lone vigilante or an agent of Dynamis. It was time to accept Wyvern's offer. Il Miglior's headquarters, the Optimates Tower, stood as the most luxurious building Ryan had ever seen. Most of Dynamis' properties were located northeast of the city, far from Rust Town. Unlike Rust Town, this district catered to New Rome's supreme elite. Il Miglior's tower rose 70 floors, combining penthouse, skyscraper, and a luxury hotel. The lower floors housed gardens, pool balconies, and helipads, while the upper floors contained offices. The building's Art Deco design blended luxurious shine and modern geometric shapes. Ryan waited on the 63rd floor in an elaborately decorated waiting room. A secretary in her 30s worked at a desk, while another familiar figure sat near closed office doors. Through the window, Ryan saw the actual Dynamis HQ nearby, a reinforced glass spire towering over the city. Even Il Miglior's impressive building paled in comparison, lacking at least 20 floors. The company's fortress overlooked both New Rome and the superheroes' base. Closer inspection revealed the Dynamis HQ resembled futuristic arcologies designed to be self-sufficient. Ryan noticed greenhouses, gardens, and water reservoirs on some floors, but past a certain point, the glass's composition prevented him from seeing inside. Suspicious. Both buildings were guarded by elite private security units wearing white armor with laser cannons implanted in their right arms and state-of-the-art weaponry. Unlike their lesser counterparts, these soldiers were well-trained and fiercely loyal to Dynamis. Ryan had heard they didn't accept bribes. After an hour of waiting, Ryan addressed the other person in the room, asking if he was the panda. The man-bear looked up with hope, appearing less bombastic and more subdued than in the previous loop. The man confirmed his identity and explained he was trying to revive the legacy of solo heroes, though villains avoided public fights with him because he was simply too powerful. He expressed frustration at his isolation despite great power. Ryan responded with heavy sarcasm, which the panda missed entirely. The secretary then called Ryan's name and informed him that Mr. Manada would see him. The panda wished Ryan luck, and Ryan introduced himself as Quicksave, joking about his immortality. The secretary allowed Ryan through the doors, closing them behind him. He entered an office as large as a house, filled with flowers, geraniums, rose bushes, chrysanthemums, muguet, and numerous other species. The room featured a miniature Japanese pond with golden carp swimming in it. Behind a mahogany desk positioned for a spectacular view of New Rome stood a tall, slender man. If not for his role, Ryan might have mistaken him for a supervillain. The man wore an expensive tuxedo with a black rose pinned on the left side, white gloves, and a stylized white helmet reminiscent of the pre-war Daft Punk band. Ryan silently admired the man's fashion. The man introduced himself as Enrique Manada, chief brand officer at Dynamis and head manager of the Il Miglior program. Petroleum, also known as Blackthorn. He shook Ryan's hand, his voice pleasant, yet firm, and smelled of roses. Ryan noticed the suit's material and gasped, realizing it was cashmere. Enrique confirmed the sharp eye and explained that Dynamis produced its own cashmere, since imports from Asia were impossible despite the horrendous production cost. Elegance was priceless. Enrique invited Ryan to sit and explained that many volunteers wished to join their superhero teams, but few reached his office. He trusted personal recommendations and acknowledged that Wyvern had vouched for Ryan, which enabled their meeting. Ryan briefly wondered who had recommended him, considering the mystery as important as tracking his assassin. Enrique noted that Wyvern trusted Ryan, especially after he warned her about their latest prisoner ghoul. He asked how Ryan had known about ghoul's escape attempt. Ryan replied it was a gut feeling. Enrique expressed disbelief and revealed that several private security members escorting ghoul had tried to help him escape. He requested any information Ryan had on security breaches. Ryan recognized the Meta's infiltration of the private security as a serious problem and resolved to investigate further. Enrique thanked Ryan for coming and acknowledged that their competition had likely made Ryan an offer. Given Vulcan's rivalry with Wyvern, he promised that Ryan's trust in Dynamis would be rewarded and asked why Ryan wished to join Il Miglior. Ryan said that since childhood he had wanted to become an addict, recognizable icon of consumerism like Mr. Clean or Felix the Cat with his face on every cereal box. Enrique responded with a serious, leaving the conversation hanging. Ryan confessed that his dream had always been to transcend the human condition and become packaged product. Enrique pressed for the real reason behind this ambition, and Ryan half-joked that it was greed. Enrique countered that Ryan's psychological profile suggested otherwise, surprising Ryan, who wondered how many people had gone mad compiling it. Ryan admitted that he thought it would be fun to try being a superhero, and that he had promised someone he would kick the Meta out of the city as a personal favor, blending business with pleasure. Enrique acknowledged the Meta gang was a problem, though not as much as the Augusti, and asked who Ryan owed this favor to. Ryan mentioned a man named Polly from Rusttown, though he doubted Polly would, that there was likely an interesting story behind this, and laid his cards on the table, expressing conflicted feelings about Ryan's case. He noted Ryan's incredible power with high development potential, impressive weapon skills, and the unusual ability to fit many miniaturized weapons inside a child's plushie. Despite not understanding the point, Ryan explained that their enemies would never see it coming. Enrique then presented Ryan with a 16-page index of collateral damage complaints linked to his name from across Italy. Ryan was bothered that it was only 16 pages, expecting more, and joked that he was too good at silencing witnesses. Enrique remained unfazed and added 18 demographic complaints, emphasizing that loose cannons had no place at Dynamis and that foolhardy behavior would not be tolerated. Under contract, Ryan defended himself, insisting he always fulfilled commands precisely and blamed others for leaving methods open to interpretation. Enrique said he needed more guarantees, noting Ryan's mercenary past and a suspicious link to a certain criminal genius. He showed Ryan a mugshot of Len Underdiver Sabino, daughter of Freddie Sabino alias Bloodstream, a dangerous psycho who had rivaled infamous criminals until his death 4 years prior. Witnesses reported that Bloodstream traveled with his daughter and an unidentified teenage boy whose body was never recovered. Ryan, Sirius, asked where Len was. Enrique replied that she was currently out of reach, but under observation. He explained that his brother, the vice president, had arrested her, a missed recruitment opportunity, as he believed in harsh measures, while Enrique believed in rehabilitation, knowing the public loved redemption stories. Enrique offered a deal if Ryan behaved. He would be led to Len, hoping Ryan's presence would encourage her to join their group. Ryan admitted to valuing her above all else. Enrique proposed a 5-year contract with Il Miglior, requiring Ryan to help clean New Rome of its criminal elements, promote Dynamis' brand, and maintain maintain good behavior in exchange. Ryan would receive a clean slate, generous accommodations, and the chance to reunite with Len. He handed Ryan a heavy contract which Ryan barely glanced at, noting the deal resembled Vulcan's offer, but without the personal vendetta. Ryan asked what Enrique wanted in return. Enrique said that although his family was often seen as profit-driven, their true goal was to rebuild Italian society into a prosperous nation, a dream impossible. While groups like the Meta, the Augusti, and Marauders ran rampant, when Ryan sarcastically called it a proud nation under copyright, Enrique ignored the jab and explained their aim to democratize superpowers by reverse engineering and mass-producing elixirs. He informed Ryan that a full DNA test would be required for tracking by private security drones in case of contract default, and that Ryan would participate in elixir research. As few violet genomes like him were employed, Ryan doubted they could replicate his power, but Enrique claimed great progress had been made, including fully functional knockoff elixirs. Ryan insisted he had tried many times without success. Enrique dismissed this and invited Ryan to share his findings with the research division. Enrique described Il Miglior's structure, the Pro League for established icons like Wyvern and the Little League for juniors and lesser-known heroes, with Ryan starting in the secondary division. Ryan listened to corporate explanations of organizational rules before skimming the